Hello everybody, back at you again with another video, and today we're going to have another video about the Honda Civic Si. Maybe a week or two ago, Honda revealed the price of this car, and it's going to be starting at $28,315 after destination. They announced this in this all-new article called All New Civic Si Get Set to Defend the Affordable Performance Crown, but that's just not the case here. So again, the $28,315 started an increase from the previous generation that started around $26,000. CNET said it was about $2,300 of an increase from the previous generation to the 11th gen. And let's see what we get for that $2,300 in upgrade. We get less horsepower. They eliminated heating seats. You don't get the dual zone AC. You get no adaptive suspension, but it's okay that they took it out, in my opinion, because from what I understand, it didn't really help the car too much, or it wasn't very good.
To add insult to injury, there's also a plethora of features that the Canadian models of the Honda Civic Si get, but we Americans do not. And these include things such as front and rear parking sensors, fog lights, LED turn signals in the side mirrors, dual zone climate, 10.2-inch TFT gauge display with shift lights. You also get things like heated seats in the front and the rear in the Canadian models, heating steering wheel, wireless charger, and also an electronic day and night mirror with HomeLink. And it doesn't make sense that Honda puts so many features on the Canadian models, and also charge the Canadian models also less when you convert the Canadian price into the United States price. The only reason I see is that the Honda Civic Si has been manufacturing in Honda's Alliston, Ontario plants, but at the same time, I wouldn't think shipping from Canada to the United States is that crazy of a cost that they would need to subtract that many features on it. Honda does have manufacturing plants in the United States that manufacture both the Civic sedan and the Civic hatch. So wouldn't it be easier if that's the case just to allocate some space to build an SI sedan? But I don't know. I don't make these decisions at these companies.
Now let's see what you do get for that price increase. You get a 12-speaker Bose stereo system. I'm really happy that they put it in the car. You get the 9-inch screen, which includes Android Auto and Apple CarPlay wirelessly, but you do not get the navigation that you get in the touring trims. But most people tend to like the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so it's not that big of a deal. You get the better power band tuning, shorter throws, rev matching, and brushings from the Type R. Honda has released a building website where we can build the Civic, so I thought we'd just take a quick look at that. You get two options: the normal Si for $27,300 before destination, and then you get the HPT package, which basically includes high performance tires, and I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, so we can take a look at these features here. Pretty much the same, as I said before, but I really wanted to take a look at the colors here. I really like the colors that they actually offered here. I think the base colors look pretty good. I like the blue and the red, but you can spend about $400 more if you want a different color. I do like the orange. The orange looks really nice. And then this nice little gray, Sonic Gray Pearl, as they're calling it, looks really good as well. I probably wouldn't spend money on the white or the black, so you're a little bit different because it is a performance car. But that's pretty much it. You also have the option of these wheels right here. They look terrible. I would stick with the base wheels that are available on the Sport. And basically, long story short, I think that this is unacceptable. It's not a great price in my opinion. Although my first video on the Honda Civic Si was pretty harsh on it, if that came out with maybe a $500 increase from the previous gen, I would have said, although it doesn't perform as well as its competitors, it's still one of the cheapest sporty cars you can get out there. But with this price increase, you're knocking on the doors of a lot of cars that can perform way better than this. An example, even though these are two-door vehicles, they'll probably get cross-shopped a little bit with the SI if you're more of a single or if you're more of a single person or don't need the practicality, the Toyota 80 GR86 and the BRZ. Those are about $300 to $700 more than the Civic Si, and for that, you get 230 horsepower, and you get the rear-wheel drive architecture. The interior and the practicality and the fuel economy isn't as nice, but you're going to get a better driving experience than what the Civic Si can get to you. And going more to its front-wheel drive, and going more to its more sedan competitors, you have the WRX. The current one is $28,420, so it's only a $100 upgrade compared to the Civic Si. And for that, you get 68 horsepower, 66 pound-feet of torque. You get active torque vectoring all-wheel drive system. Yeah, you're going to get a worse quality interior, and you're not going to get some of the feature sets that this SI has. But if you're looking for performance, the WRX is clearly going to be better than the SI. Then you're also knocking on the competitors of the GTI. For the base model, it's going to be $30,000, $540, and you get 40 more horsepower. You're going to get 681 pound-feet of torque more. Although the GTI now is pretty expensive, to be honest. You're going to have to get 35. It's going to be $35,000 for the SE, which has a comparable interior to the Civic Si. And that's going to be a lot more money than the Civic Si is, so it does have some value there. And also, the GTI's interior is a lot worse than the Civic with those censored buttons. It's just not great, so they kind of messed up there. And then you also got the GLI. You get 28 more horsepower, 66 pound-feet of torque more with that from the same 2-liter that the Golf has. You get the 6-speed manual. You also have the option of the dual clutch. And this car makes a lot of sense because you get a better feature set than the Civic Si. You get a panoramic sunroofs, heated front seats, cool seats, leather, dual zone climate, digital display, and you also get power adjustments for the driver's seats, and that comes in around $32,000 basically. And even the competitors, the Korean competitors that come below the Civic Si, they do a better job at giving you a better feature set than what this offers. Let's take a look at the Forte GT line, or the Forte GT. And that includes adjustable power driver seats, heated front seats, ventilated seats. You get a Harman Kardon stereo. You get all your safety features. You get rear USB charging port and a wireless phone charger and a rear AC vent, all for $26,000. So the Civic doesn't really give you a better feature set than even the GT Forte line. Even the Mazda 3, which is $31,000, is you get all-wheel drive, a lot more power, more than 120 pound-feet of torque more than the Civic, but that's slightly different. But I think that this price, it doesn't make sense what Honda has done with this vehicle, because everyone knows that the middle vehicles, such as the WRX and the GTI, they tend to sell more than the Golf R and then the STI models. People I've seen on the internet complaining about the power, they usually say buy Type R. But the issue with the Civic Si, in my opinion, is that there's a really big disparity of performance compared to the Type R and the Sport. The Civic Si is really a lot more closer to a Sport than it is to a Type R. And I think that the Civic Si should have gone more to the middle in being more of a Type R light and a little bit closer to its competitors. And they just didn't do that here. So in all, the Civic Si feels very lackluster. You get a poorly executed exterior. I think that the base Civic does look better than the previous 10th gen Civic. But however, they failed to make any improvements to it to a sport model. Like even the vehicle like the Camry TRD. It looks way different from a Camry XSE, And Honda didn't really do that with this vehicle. The interior is missing a lot of features that you could get on the 10th gen Civic, and the performance is just lacking. And I think the exterior and the interior complaints, I think all of them would have been forgiven if they just put like another 20 to 30 horsepower in this car. So now the question I want to answer is who this vehicle is for. I think it's someone who wants a more practical sporty vehicle with a 6-speed, but it doesn't really do anything better than its competition. However, I would take this over the WRX because the exterior and the interior, especially the base interior, aren't that great. And then I would take this over a GTI just because of the interior. And personally, I think Honda and I personally think that these choices by Honda will probably lead to the Civic Si getting cut or axed in later generations. Why? Because you got low power output with a high price, meaning that it probably won't sell well. And in terms of the value proposition that it had with the 10th gen, it loses all of that because you lose a lot of the nicer features that you got in the 10th gen, as well as a significant bump in price compared to that Model 2. So overall, final thoughts on the Civic Si. This is probably my final video about it. It just looks lackluster. Honda did not try at all with this vehicle. And it's disappointing because all the reviews of this new Civic touted how the platform was good with handling and it was the best driving platform out of all, the compact vehicles. But yet, with their performance model, they failed to really improve upon it. And it just leaves the consumer and other Honda fans left with a sour taste in their mouth, basically. And that's pretty much all for me. Like, subscribe the video if you want to see more. And that's about it. Thank you for watching.